We are here for another preview of my upcoming masterclass, How Organizations and Individuals Cast Vision, Crush Sales, and Empower People. Now, the beauty of you signing up early is that's given me some additional insight into the type of people that are going to be joining the masterclass, the roles that they play, the goals that they have. I've been getting some feedback on that, and in getting that feedback from you, that's allowing me to make some slight adjustments to how this masterclass is going to be delivered, because I want it to be relevant to you. If you are all business owners or executives of $100 million organizations, we would be having a different type of conversation, but you're not. And so therefore, we will be focusing this masterclass a little bit more specifically on the individual contributor. Now, you may be a leader in your role. You may have direct reports underneath you. So it's not to say that you're not leading people, but ultimately, as it seems to me, you are interested in investing into yourself. How do you create a vision for your future? How do you create a clear vision for what you want the next year to look like, 3 years, 5 years, whatever that may be? Further, I want to help you create a good plan. A lot of you, as it seems to me, have sales responsibility. That could be either you as the owner of your business, and so you're wanting to generate revenue for you and your team, or that may be that you are actually a sales professional, and so that's your role full time, is to sell. And so I want to make sure that I'm addressing your individual needs as a sales professional and how to generate more revenue over the next year. Because if you generate more revenue for your organization, you are going to generate more income for yourself. And ultimately, that's why we're in business. We are in business to generate revenue, to make money. That money may do other things for us, but the primary reason that we work is to generate revenue. The primary reason why we have a business is to generate revenue. Even as a nonprofit organization, if you don't generate revenue, you cannot contribute to the cause that you have set out to contribute to when you started that nonprofit. And then finally, as it relates to people empowerment, again, this may be for you leading a team, but I believe more than anything, you're here, or you're desiring to show up on January 11th, which, by the way, the masterclass will go live on January 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And again, that will only be available to those that show up live. If you show up live, you participate in the live masterclass, you will gain access to the recording, but that on-demand recording will not be available for the masses. That's going to be that on-demand recording will be your reward for showing up live, so you can go back through and watch. Anyway, so as it relates to the people piece, and then I'm going to walk through just a couple of steps of this again, whether it was a refresher for those of you that watched the primer last time, the Cast Vision, Crush Sales, Empower People, Let's Go, or this Let's Go Bigger, and you're here for the first time. Again, I want to make sure that you are getting as much as I can give to you for your participation here. Though you're here for free, meaning you didn't spend any money, I know it's a time investment, and so I want to make sure that your time is very well spent. So anyway, so as it relates to people empowerment, again, this is probably more than likely going to be, or this is going to be focused on you, the individual, how you create a plan for yourself, how you create the right discipline and habit for yourself. So again, this is going to be more focused on you, but it will apply to the teams that you lead if you in fact lead teams. All that to say, so I want to walk through just highlighting each of the areas that we're going to be focused on for next week's masterclass. Again, January 11th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Pacific time is when we will go live with this masterclass. If you're watching this and you have not registered, you can register at the link anywhere that you're watching this masterclass or this preview. If you can't seem to find the link for whatever reason, email Ryan at ryanjamesmiller.com and just say, give me the link, and I will be sure to send you the link to this masterclass. We are capping this masterclass at 100, and we are getting close to capacity. I believe this next week, we're going to see a surge in signups. So don't let somebody beat you to the punch if you're holding off to this point. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit at a high level about what you can expect when you show up next week for the live masterclass. So first of all, what you're going to get, if you register the day of, you will get an email from me, from my team, and it will include a copy of a workbook. You can print it out, which is what I'm going to suggest that you do, because you won't be able to fill it out digitally unless you have some really cool software to do that, which maybe you do. But I like writing things down. I'm a tech guy, a very techie. I try to have as much digital as I possibly can, but there's something about writing down. So this workbook is going to include pages on creating your vision, on achieving your vision, on empowering people. Like it's going to have everything that you need. So you'll get that email in your inbox. If you show up to the masterclass and for some reason you didn't get it, there will be a link available for you to download inside the masterclass. So we'll make that available to you once you get in here if you hadn't had a chance to see it yet. But I'm going to encourage you to download that and have that printed out and ready to go for the masterclass. So we are going to work through this workbook together. I am going to deliver content to you that's going to be relevant to you building this plan out for yourself as you go. This is not going to be a bait and switch of some kind where it's like show up and I'm just going to give you theory and then you got to pay for the content. No, the content is going to be here as part of the masterclass. So we're going to work through 3 different areas. The first one, as it says in the title, is casting vision. So it's going to be extremely important that you start thinking ahead of time about what you are ultimately looking for in life and in business. What do you want the future to look like? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to live? What do you want to experience? These things are incredibly important to consider. And so we're going to talk a lot about each of those, all kinds of things inside of that idea of creating a vision. It's going to be extremely, extremely helpful that this is how we set the tone. I reference this a lot, but Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind. Meaning, if you don't have an idea of the destination, then how are you going to create a path to get there? And I see this mistake made all the time in life and in business for people, but I'll make this more relevant to business for right now. What I see far too often is when it comes to goal setting. So we just turned the new year, and so people are setting goals. It's typically metrics-driven goals, but why do you want that goal? Like the revenue that you're after. Let's just say that you want to go from making the $100,000 a year number to the $200,000 a year number. Let's say you made $140,000 last year and you want to break $200,000 this year. Why? What is it that you're ultimately trying to accomplish? It's never really. I don't think anybody that's going to be following me or is going to show up here wants that number for the sake of the number. They want that number because of what it'll accomplish for them. Maybe you want to buy a home. Maybe you want to pay off some remaining debt. Maybe you want to take an incredible vacation. There are going to be reasons why you ultimately want to achieve that goal. And so again, I'm going to have you thinking about going just beyond the numbers, really towards what the end looks like, what that ultimate accomplishment is for you. We're going to talk about time domains. When do you want to accomplish these things? We'll talk about that in a more narrow frame of mind. So again, an annual goal, but then also something more long-term. So 3-5 years. So my big vision, so I am 44 right now. I had to think about that for a second. So my next big kind of visionary step is 50. So 5.5 years, actually not even 5.5 years. I'll turn 45 in March. So 4 years and so many months, 2 months, 3 months, and so that's my next big vision step. And so I have a pretty clear picture of what I want 50 to look like for me, not just physically what I'm going to look like, but what my life will look like, what my family will be like, what my business hopefully will look like. So again, we're going to think about time domains, and then we're going to talk about who my vision benefits. Not just me, but who else my vision will benefit. That's going to be super helpful in thinking about how we accomplish the vision, who we get to participate in it, how people are going to help encourage and empower us and hold us accountable. So we're going to talk about all that. This is going to be jam-packed. This 45-minute masterclass, again, January 11th, is going to be jam-packed with content. And so you are not going to want to be distracted by anything, because we are going to be so intently focused on ensuring that vision, sales strategy, and professional development are all talked about, and we have plans for each one of those areas that are relevant to you. So then we'll talk about creating a roadmap within that vision. Moving on. So then, again, in this masterclass next week, January 11th, a week from today, as a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about what sales plans should look like, what your sales system should look like. So it's not just about a number. I see far too many salespeople and even business owners, entrepreneurs, that they set a goal. And again, it's metric driven. And I understand that, because metrics driven goals, first of all, they're the easiest to measure. But secondly, they are predominantly the most important thing in business. If I need a number in order to determine whether or not I can put food on the table, or keep my business running, or purchase the things, or go the places that I want to go. So revenue is extremely important, but we need to focus on more than just a goal. When I work with sales professionals, when I coach them, one of the things that we talk a lot about is, I want to understand how you think you are going to get to the goal. One of the things that I'm going to focus on a lot, and so if you're watching this right now, you're going to hear this and you'll be prepared for this, but I want to focus a lot more on what can be controlled versus what cannot be controlled. So you may have heard me say this before, but it actually frustrates me when salespeople, entrepreneurs, and even business owners put so much stock in a financial goal, like a number. And you're like, well, wait a minute. You just said, you've been saying that revenue is so important, that that's what makes the business go around. It's what puts food on the table. Those are all true. But if I asked you to set a goal, a good, reasonable goal for yourself for the next 12 months, and then I said, are you willing to stake your life on it? You would probably say, well, you're crazy. Like, that's just such a ridiculous thing. Or with some bravado or some sense of pride, people are like, sure, I would. But it's like, you would never do that. Why? Well, first of all, because that's a pretty crazy ask. But secondly, it's because you actually don't have control over whether or not that goal's achieved. And you're like, what? You don't have control over whether or not a prospect says yes to you. You have influence, but you don't have control. And you would be nuts to stake your life on something that you don't have complete control over. So we're going to talk more about the controllables. We're going to talk more about the process. We're going to talk more about the activity, about the action, about the language. That's the sales system. If we have a great sales system in place, we have a far greater likelihood of achieving the goals that we desire to achieve for ourselves. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about success metrics. What does success look like for me in my role as a sales professional? And that's going to be different, because we're going to have people in different industries and different types of sales roles. But again, ultimately, that's what we're going to be talking about in sales. And then finally, as it relates to the people empowerment component, this is really professional development. So we're going to talk about aligning personal vision to professional outcomes. We're going to talk about what we desire most as individuals, what we want for our life, for our business. So that's going to connect back to vision, right? Super important that we think about that. We are going to address things like superpowers. What am I really strong in? This is so important, because we need to be focused on the things that we're amazing at. I would be a fool to set a goal to go play in the NBA next year. I don't have that kind of talent. I don't have that kind of ability. I mean, I played high school basketball and I was a starter my sophomore year of varsity, junior year of varsity, sorry. A starter on varsity my junior year. But I'm not that good. That would be ridiculous. One of my superpowers is not basketball. And so again, we need to focus on the skills, the talents, the gifts that we personally have and how we can leverage those to the best of our ability to be successful. And then we're going to talk about roadblocks. Extremely important that we talk about those things. So as we talk through all those things, are going to finish with a plan of action, focusing on 1, 2, 3 specific things that we want to work on that we know or we are confident will help us to ultimately get better and accomplish the things that we desire for ourselves. So we are going to, again, just get after it all. Vision, sales, and development of the individual. All 3 of those things will be encompassed in this free masterclass, right? Again, how organizations and individuals cast vision, crush sales, empower people. January 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you have not yet signed up, please go sign up right now. You can go to ryanjamesmiller.com slash, again, ryanjamesmiller.com slash AY V4S, AYV4S dash masterclass. Again, ryanjamesmiller.com slash AYV4S dash masterclass. I'll drop a link down in the comments after this is streamed. And again, if you're like, I don't even know, what did you just say? Email Ryan at ryanjamesmiller.com and I'll shoot a link over to you so you can get signed up. We're now up to 63 or 64 signups. So again, that 100 cap is getting close. I guarantee you that will get filled in the next couple of days. People always wait to the last minute, and this is where we see the greatest surge. Secure your spot. Come prepared. Print out your workbook. Again, we're all going to work from this workbook because that's how we're going to build our plan. You're going to walk away with some practical action steps. I guarantee you that if you show up present for 45 minutes, you are going to walk away with a significant amount of value that is going to help you accomplish the things that you want to. At the end of that 45 minutes, I'm going to open it up for Q&A, and I'm going to let people just ask any question that they have related to the masterclass. And so be prepared to ask questions if you've got any. I'm going to do my best to show up, to deliver the very best that I can for this free masterclass. Again, how organizations and individuals cast vision, crush sales, empower people. We're going to focus more on the individual because I believe that most of you signing up are individual contributors. Even if you're a leader, you are contributing to your organization. And so that is going to be the primary focus. If you have any thoughts, questions from this preview or anything else for that matter, feel free to email me. You can drop a comment in one of the social platforms that you're watching this on, or you can email Ryan at ryanjamesmiller.com. I would be more than happy to answer any questions ahead of this masterclass. Again, next Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, 10 a.m. Pacific time, I'm going to bring everything that I have to give you as much as I possibly can over the course of that 45-minute masterclass, and then whatever Q&A you want after that. Thank you so much for joining. I cannot wait to share all of this with you next week. So go get registered if you haven't already. Keep an eye out for those emails. Download your workbook. We are going to do this together. I am fired up, as you can see. I hope you are too. Thank you so much for taking time today. See you next week.